Maxim had always lived as if consequences were something that happened to other people. From childhood, he moved through life cushioned by money, protected by his father's name, and admired, or at least tolerated, by those who wanted something from him. The apartment where everything happened was a reflection of that life. High ceilings, marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, and silence so perfect it felt expensive. That afternoon, the silence shattered with a sharp curse. Maxim stood in the living room, drawers pulled open, sofa cushions thrown aside, his movements aggressive and careless. His eyes were burning, his face red with anger. "My watch is gone," he snapped. "The Patek. The one you gave me." His father, Viktor Leonov, sat in an armchair near the window, reading glasses balanced on his nose. He didn't look up immediately. For a man who controlled companies worth millions, he had learned patience long ago. "Are you sure you didn't misplace it?" Viktor asked calmly. Maxim stopped and laughed bitterly. "Misplace it? Do you think I'm an idiot?" At that moment, the front door opened quietly. A young woman stepped inside, holding a bucket and cleaning supplies. She had dark hair pulled back into a simple ponytail, a plain jacket, and tired eyes that had seen too many long days. She froze when she sensed the tension in the room. "There," Maxim said instantly, his finger shooting toward her like a weapon. "Her. She's the only one who's been in the apartment today." The girl's grip tightened on the bucket. "I just finished cleaning the kitchen," she said softly. Viktor finally lowered his newspaper and looked at her properly. She couldn't have been more than 25. Thin, modest, almost invisible, the kind of person wealthy people rarely noticed. "You're accusing her?" Viktor asked. "Who else?" Maxim shot back. "She's a cleaning woman. These agencies don't check anyone properly. She saw the watch, thought she hit the jackpot, and took it." The words hit her like slaps. Her lips parted as if she wanted to speak, but nothing came out at first. She took a breath, steadying herself. "I didn't take anything," she said quietly. Maxim scoffed. "That's rich. Then where is it?" She looked at him directly now, her fear slowly giving way to something stronger. "I know where your watch is." Maxim laughed loudly, harsh and mocking. "Oh, this should be good. Go on. Surprise us." She turned her gaze to Viktor instead. "Sir, may I speak freely?" Viktor studied her for a moment. He had seen countless people lie to him, executives, partners, lawyers. Something in her tone made him nod. "Go ahead." She set the bucket down gently, as if careful not to disturb the fragile balance in the room. "That watch didn't disappear today. Your son hasn't worn it for weeks." Maxim's smile twitched. "You've got a lot of nerve." She continued, her voice steady. "Last month, you came home late several nights in a row. You argued on the phone. You were nervous. I remember because you didn't even notice I was cleaning the hallway." Viktor's eyes shifted slowly toward his son. "And 3 weeks ago," she added, "you took a small black box from the shelf and left with it. You came back without it." Maxim's jaw tightened. "You're lying." "I'm not," she said. "You pawned the watch." The room went completely silent. Viktor stood up slowly, as if his body needed time to catch up with his mind. "What is she talking about, Maxim?" "This is absurd," Maxim said quickly. "She's trying to save herself." The girl reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out her phone. "I didn't plan to say any of this. I don't enjoy humiliating people. But you accused me of being a thief." She tapped the screen and held it out. "You left your phone on the counter once. A message came in. I saw the notification by accident." Viktor took the phone from her hand. His eyes scanned the screen. The color drained from his face. A pawnshop address. A date. A confirmation message. Maxim stepped forward. "Dad, wait." Viktor raised his hand, silencing him without a word. His lips trembled slightly as he reread the message. "You gambled again," Viktor said, his voice barely above a whisper. "After everything." Maxim looked away. "I was going to buy it back." "With what money?" Viktor asked sharply. "The money I already pay your debts with." The girl spoke again, hesitantly. "Sir, that's not all." Viktor turned to her, his eyes heavy. "What else?" "The watch wasn't the first thing," she said. "I didn't know who you were at first. But then I recognized your name." She swallowed. 3 years ago, my father worked at one of your factories. The one that closed suddenly. Victor's brow furrowed. He lost his job the same week you signed a new contract overseas, she continued. No warning. No compensation. Hundreds of people were laid off. Maxim shifted uncomfortably. My father couldn't find work afterward, she said. He got sick. Stress, doctors said. He died a year later. Her voice cracked for the first time, but she didn't stop. The day you signed that contract, sir, your son received that watch. Victor's hand clenched around his glasses. He sank back into the armchair, his strength visibly draining away. I didn't steal your watch, she finished softly. But it was paid for with other people's lives long before it was pawned. Maxim opened his mouth, but no words came out. Victor stared at the floor, his mind racing through memories he had buried under numbers and success. Meetings, signatures, applause. Faces he never bothered to remember. He tried to speak, but his throat locked. No sound came out. The silence this time was different. Heavy, crushing, absolute. The girl picked up her bucket. I'll leave now, she said. I don't want trouble. I just wanted my name cleared. Victor lifted his head slowly. His eyes were wet. What is your name? He asked hoarsely. Anna, she replied. He nodded, as if engraving it into his memory. You're not fired, he said. And you'll be paid for today. More than agreed. She shook her head gently. I don't need extra money. I just needed the truth to be heard. She walked toward the door. Behind her, Maxim stood frozen. No arrogance left, only the weight of exposure. Victor remained seated, staring into empty space, a powerful man stripped of speech by the quiet strength of a girl he had never truly seen. When the door closed, the apartment felt larger, colder, and for the first time, unbearably honest. Maxim had always believed that life was a game designed for his enjoyment. Rules existed, of course, but only for people without money or influence. From an early age he had learned that mistakes could be erased with a phone call, an apology written by a lawyer, or a discreet transfer of funds. His father's name opened doors, silenced arguments, and turned accusations into misunderstandings. Growing up inside that invisible shield had shaped Maxim into someone who rarely questioned himself and never doubted his right to be believed. The apartment reflected that belief perfectly. It was not just expensive, it was intentionally impressive. Every piece of furniture had been chosen by a designer whose name appeared in glossy magazines. The walls were decorated with abstract paintings no one really understood but everyone pretended to admire. The city stretched endlessly beyond the panoramic windows, small and obedient beneath the height of the building. From here, the world looked controllable. That afternoon, control slipped. Maxim stood in the middle of the living room, his hands trembling as he yanked open drawers, knocked over cushions, and paced back and forth like a caged animal. His breathing was sharp, uneven, fueled by panic he refused to acknowledge. It's gone, he said again, louder this time, as if volume could force reality to change. It was right here. Viktor Leonov sat several meters away in a leather armchair, his posture relaxed, legs crossed, a financial newspaper open in his hands. At 60, he had mastered the art of appearing calm even when he wasn't. Decades of negotiations had taught him that the first person to lose composure usually lost everything else shortly after. You're talking about the watch? Victor asked without looking up. Yes, the watch, Maxim snapped. The Patek. Don't act like it's nothing. Victor finally lowered the paper and peered at his son over his glasses. I'm not acting. I'm asking. When did you last see it? Yesterday. Maybe this morning. I don't know. Maxim ran a hand through his hair. But it didn't just disappear. Victor sighed quietly. He knew this tone. He had heard it before, too many times. Maxim, you tend to misplace things when I'm what? Maxim interrupted. Distracted. Tired. No, I'm not imagining this. As if summoned by the tension, the front door opened with a soft click. A young woman stepped inside, carefully wiping her shoes on the mat. She carried a bucket, cleaning cloths, and a bottle of detergent. Her movements were quiet, practiced, designed not to draw attention. She paused the moment she sensed the charged air in the room. I finished the kitchen, she said politely, her voice barely above a whisper. Is there anything else you'd like me to do? Maxim turned toward her instantly. His eyes narrowed, and something close to relief flashed across his face. not relief that the watch was found, but relief that he had found a target. There, he said sharply, pointing at her. She took it. The words fell heavily, like a verdict pronounced without trial. The girl froze. Her fingers tightened around the handle of the bucket until her knuckles turned pale. I didn't, she said instinctively. Victor's gaze shifted to her, slow and assessing. She stood straight despite the accusation, though fear flickered briefly in her eyes. You're accusing the cleaner? Victor asked. Who else? Maxim replied. She's the only outsider who's been here today. Don't be naive, Dad. This happens all the time. Victor frowned slightly. And you're certain the watch was here before she arrived? Yes, Maxim said without hesitation. The lie came easily. He believed it himself, or wanted to. The girl swallowed. Sir, I didn't take anything, she said again, more firmly now. Maxim laughed, short and cruel. Of course you didn't. You people never do. Victor raised an eyebrow. Maxim. What? Maxim shot back. I'm stating facts. The girl lifted her chin. I know where your watch is. That made Maxim laugh outright. Oh, then by all means, enlighten us. She didn't look at him. Instead, she turned to Victor. May I speak honestly? Victor studied her face. There was no desperation in her expression, no frantic attempt to please. If anything, she looked resigned, as if she had reached a point where fear no longer outweighed the need to speak. You may, Victor said. She set the bucket down slowly. Your son hasn't worn that watch in weeks. Maxim's smile faltered for just a fraction of a second. You've been watching me. I clean here twice a week, she replied calmly. It's hard not to notice. Maxim scoffed. That proves nothing. Last month, she continued, you came home late almost every night. You were angry. You argued on the phone a lot. Victor's attention sharpened. He closed the newspaper completely now. And 3 weeks ago, she said, you took the watch from the shelf. You held it for a long time before leaving. Maxim took a step forward. Enough. You returned without it, she finished. The silence that followed felt unnaturally thick, like the air before a storm. Victor stood up slowly. Maxim, he said quietly. Is this true? This is ridiculous, Maxim replied too quickly. She's making things up to save herself. The girl reached into her jacket pocket and hesitated, as if reconsidering. Then she pulled out her phone. I didn't plan to say any of this, she said. But you accused me of a crime. She held the phone out to Victor. You left your phone unlocked on the counter once. A message came in. I saw the notification. I didn't open anything. Victor took the phone. His eyes moved across the screen, scanning the short text. An address. A date. A confirmation number. His hand tightened around the device. Pawn shop. Victor murmured. Maxim's face drained of color. Dad, listen. You pawned the watch? Victor asked, louder now. I was going to buy it back, Maxim said. I just needed time. Time, Victor repeated. Or money. Maxim looked away. The girl inhaled shakily. Sir, I wouldn't have said anything more, but there's something you should know. Victor turned to her slowly. His confident, controlled expression had cracked, revealing something raw beneath it. My father worked at one of your factories, she said. 3 years ago. Victor frowned. Which factory? The textile plant outside the city, she replied. The one that closed suddenly. Recognition flickered in Victor's eyes. He lost his job without warning, she continued. No severance. No explanation. Hundreds of people were laid off. Maxim shifted uncomfortably. My father tried to find other work, she said. He was over 50. No one wanted him. The stress destroyed his health. Her voice trembled but didn't break. He died a year later. Victor felt as if the room were tilting. The day that factory closed, she added, you signed a contract abroad. I remember seeing it on the news. Victor swallowed. That same week, she said softly, your son received that watch. Victor sank back into his chair as if his legs had suddenly given up on him. Memories rushed back. Boardrooms, signatures, applause, champagne glasses raised to success. Faces blurred together, unimportant, replaceable. He tried to speak, but nothing came out. Maxim stared at the floor, his earlier arrogance completely gone. I didn't steal your watch, the girl said quietly. But it was bought with the consequences of decisions that destroyed lives. Including my father's. The silence stretched unbearably long. I just wanted my name cleared, she said. That's all. She picked up her bucket. Victor finally found his voice, though it sounded foreign to his own ears. What is your name? Anna, she replied. He nodded slowly. You will be paid for today, he said. And, you're welcome to continue working here if you wish. She shook her head gently. Thank you, but no. She walked to the door without another word. When it closed behind her, the apartment felt colder, emptier. The city outside still glittered, indifferent. Maxim remained standing, exposed and silent. Victor stared ahead, his power, his certainty, his carefully constructed world shaken by the truth spoken by someone he had barely noticed. For the first time in many years, money could not buy silence, and the quiet left behind was unbearable.